Hi guys, welcome to another great trick. For this one we need a spectator who's going to help us with a random number and a random playing card. Now, the problem with the advent of social media is it's sometimes possible that a magician could look at someone's Facebook profile and get an idea of what their house number is, or when they were born, or how old they are, because normally they're the sort of numbers that someone would give if asked for a random number. So I want to avoid that. I want us to get a totally randomized number that I couldn't know and they couldn't know themselves. And I've kind of come up with a way of doing this using some coins. And what I've done with these coins is I've put numbers on both sides, some random numbers. What I'd like you to do is to mix them up. So you give these to the spectator, they mix them up and just drop them on the table. Okay, we now have a random number here on there. What I'd like you to do, in case you believe that maybe the coins are weighted and that they drop in a certain position, your choice, any one of those coins, flip over. So you can do any one you like. So you've flipped over this one, you're happy with that. If you now look at these, I want you, I don't know if the camera can pick those up, but I want you to add those up. So we've got a 6 and a 4, that gives us 10. 1 is 11 and 3 makes 14. Okay, but you could have had a different number if you had flipped over another one as well. I think we can say that that's a pretty randomized number. We need a card. Which card would you like? The 7 of clubs. Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do is, what's this? So the old receipt. So don't forget these, we'll write them down. So the number you chose was 14 and the card was the 7 of clubs. So the 7 of clubs. So there we've got those to remind us. Let's get rid of these. Now, if we take the cards, this is going to be special. You see, I haven't touched the cards. You chose a 7 of clubs. You chose number 14. The card at the 14th position is going to be your card. I know it sounds impossible, but watch. Let's remove the cards. Okay. In fact, we don't need the jokers, so we'll get rid of those. Don't need that or that. The 14th card, watch closely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We appear to have a calling card, a blank card in here. Let's just check. There's no other cards like that in here. In the 14th position is this card. I was expecting the 7 of clubs, but let's see. Oh, there's a message on there. I owe you 1 playing card. Now what could that mean? 1 playing card. You're going to be amazed because I'm going to give these other cards to you. There's 51 cards here. I'd like you to go through looking for your 7 of clubs. Go through and tell me if you can see the card that you freely called out, the 7 of clubs. And while doing so, counting the cards, you will find that we have exactly 51 playing cards and there's no 7 of clubs. And that is the card that I owe you in the 14th position. Practice and enjoy. So here's the secret to the trick called I.O.U. It's a great effect because you've got 2 random things. A card that they just call out a number that neither of us could know what it could be. And put together, it turns out that the card that they wanted is not in the pack. Now you can tell straight away by me having two decks of cards in front of me, you're probably already guessing how the trick is done. First of all, let's look at the simple thing, the number. It's a number force. Now, you need to force a number onto somebody. It doesn't really matter how you achieve that. You might have a much better method than what I use. This particular number force, I just use coins and write numbers on, and all I've done is to write, if I can have a look at these, is on 4 coins, I've written 1, 2, 3, 4 on each of the coins. On the flip side, I've got 5, 6, 7 and 8. That's what I've got there. Now what'll happen is, when you drop these, it can force 2 numbers, 14 or 22. Now it will come up with other numbers, but you can always force 14 and 22. Alright. Now, how does it work? Well, let me show you. Let me shake these up and drop them. Now we've got an 8, a 5, a 3 and a 6. So we've got 11, 19, 20, 21, 22. This comes to 22. Now at this point, I don't need to do anything. If the spectator does that, you quickly in your head add and say, look, add these up. It comes to 22. That's as random as you can get. You can even demonstrate by turning one over and it'll be not one of the false numbers. Okay, so that's 22. If we did it again, 8, 10, 13, 14, that's my other false number. So again, I don't need to do anything. However, if I do this, let's see if I can get it to come up, that's 18. I've got a 7, 2, 1 and an 8. That's 18. When I see that, I then ask the spectator to turn over any coin, just one. And this can really enhance the effect. So if they turn one over, they will always arrive at either 22 or 14. As I said, if you've got a much better way of forcing a number onto someone, then feel free to use that. And if you can force just one number, that would be even better. My favourite one is 14. Okay, but if it gets to 22, then there's a kind of out. So let me just show you that. So that's the force of a number. You've got to force a number. Why are we forcing a number? Well, because in both of these packs, in the 14th position, if we take a look, in the 14th position is the blank card. And all I've done is take a blank card. You could take just a piece of cardboard if you don't have one of these, and just write on one side I.O.U. one playing card. Just a novel gag. But as I said, that's in the 14th position in both packs. Now, depending on which card they choose, I will use either this deck or this deck. Now the way that I've got these set up, I think I did a trick a year or so ago that used a similar method, that you've got a card missing. Rather than explain what I've got in here, basically you take 2 packs of cards and you take 26 from one, 26 from the other that are duplicates, and you put them together, and you do the same with the other one. Okay, I used to use odds and evens, but if you want it more varied, you can use this. What I do is I do a screenshot of all of the cards at the end of this video, so there'll be a static screenshot of the cards if you want to copy mine, but I'm sure you'll make up your own variation. All that I know is, for this to work, this is my left pack, this is my right pack. Now these can go in your pocket of your jacket when you're performing. Now you may have noticed when I was performing, I did pull out one pack, but I did have the other box in here. If you watch the routine, once they've got the number, I then ask for the card. Once I know which card, for this method, if you're going to use these rather than the odd or even, if you want to copy my number sequence, then basically whatever card they give you, you halve it. And so they said the 7 of clubs. So if I halve that, it gives me 3.5. Forget the half, just take the whole number 3. Now that's an odd black card. That means I pick up this one. In this pack, if the playing card that they choose, when I halve it, if it's an odd black card, I use this, and if it's an even red card, I use this. Otherwise, I pull out this pack. Simple as that. I don't need to remember this, I just always remember if it's an odd black card, this pack. If it's an even red, this one. If it's neither of those, it's this pack. And what that allows me to do is I know that the 7 of clubs will not appear in this pack. Okay? So give you an example, if they called out the 10 of hearts, I would halve it, which will give me 5. It's a red card. Well, that's an odd of 5. That's odd and red. So I know I would bring this pack out. In which case, you'll notice when I got my coins, I grabbed the card box and I went in and I pulled out the receipt and a pen while leaving these. But what I do is I swap the box. Now they forget that. They just think I'm casually putting stuff away. What's actually happened, I've switched the pack. It's a great method. Even better, if the card, like they did on the performance, is part of this, I don't have to do the packet switch. The cards are in full view and you can really stress that point that they've been there all the time. Okay, and that's how you do that. So if you are using my sequence, but if you're using odds and even decks, then work out your own method. But this one, if you copy my sequence, you have this pack, the left hand pack, the right hand pack, and if it's odd and black or even and red, then use this. If it's neither of those, then use this. So remember, whatever card they give you, if they gave you the 4 of diamonds, you halve it, which would be 2. That's an even red. So this is the pack I would use. Now you might think, oh, that's a bit complicated. Once you've done it once or twice, it's second nature. By the way, this isn't the original version. I looked at my notes from this trick that I typed up a number of years ago. I'll have to dig them out. And I used to use the Bart Harding stack. That way you only need one deck. And there was a clever method of getting rid of the named card. So when they count the 51 cards, their card isn't there. But maybe if you want to, I'll put together a video using the Bart Harding one. But this one uses 2 decks, and that's it. Let me just show you what happened. It's self-working really, because once you've done that, you go through, in the 14th position is this. Then you give them the pack, they go through, they count them, the cards are not going to be there. Now I know what you're saying. Hang on a minute, you said there's 2 false numbers, 14 and 22. So what happens if it's 22? Well, this is why I have the jokers. Quite a clever move. When you remove the cards and you say, look, we've got just a regular, oh, we don't want the jokers. Look at my jokers here. This one's on the face, but this one is in the 9th position. Now, this is what I do, because if I put 8 cards on top of the pack, that blank card in the 14th position now becomes the 22nd position. It's that sneaky. Yeah. So if the number was 22, when I remove the cards, I say, let's get rid of the jokers. That one, don't want that, and we don't want that. take the cards and count down to 22. That's it. The card is now in the 22nd position. Okay, as I said, if you've got a way of forcing just one number, you won't have to worry about that. Unfortunately, that's all I could come up with of forcing two numbers. But in the comments below, if you've got any suggestions, then put those. That's the trick. I think it's a great little gimmicky card trick. They give a random number, a random card. When they look through the cards, there's a card in the position they was expecting to find their chosen card, called I.O.U. Comical. But the kicker is when they go through the 51 cards and they count these, their card isn't there. How is that possible? All the other 51 cards are there, just their one isn't. And that's called I.O.U. Enjoy.